All right, so describe what propaganda is, detail why organizations like the Committee on Public Safety was created. Finally, do you think the Selective Service Act of 1917 was favored by Americans? So, like I said, once we're done with this, we'll get back to the activity from yesterday. We're analyzing these pieces of propaganda, answering the questions, do it. We have four more to go. Once we're done with that, submit it. Get the grade for it. And then we're going to talk today about the Espionage and Sedition Acts. All right? Cool. Did? I didn't hear you. Blocking out the haters. All right, okay. So what is propaganda? What is it? What is it? Chris, what's propaganda? All right, good job. What do you think you are? A diesel racing cars or something up there? I didn't expect you to be. Okay, you know with that? Oh, yeah, exit the game. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, propaganda. use of media to try to influence a population, in this case for warfare. We talked about Woodrow Wilson. We mentioned about how he wanted to try to stay out of the conflict as long as possible. And the reason for it is because we already mentioned that the United States is a melting pot. There's a lot of immigrant groups that could cause a lot of tension, maybe a revolt, a rebellion internally if we join, let's say, the wrong side. So overall, after Lusitania, did we join the war? No, we did not. Okay, but the final straw was the what? In 1970. What was the final straw? Chris, go ahead. Yeah, the Zimmerman telegram. Good job. So with that, again, the United States had no other choice. They had to join the war. Okay. So with that, in 1917, the United States joins the conflict, and well, now we have to ramp up efforts to get the population excited, motivated for this conflict. Was our military, let's say, as equal as Germany's? Was it, Jason? No, it wasn't. Right? We were far behind when it came to participation in our military. And the only other conflict that we kind of remember was the Spanish-American War. And another name for it was the Splendid Little War. Because, well, there was not many casualties, not many deaths. Yeah, I didn't talk about that war too much. You'll focus more on that in history. But again, war was viewed as a game. Thought, you know what? It's not a big deal. Okay, we can go over there and whoop some butt just like we did against Spain. Okay, so with that, a lot of people realize that war, okay, is something that people should be a part of. That it's exciting. That it's something, like I said, an activity or game that these young men are looking to dive into. All right, so with the movie, we get to it at the end of the chapter here. Fly Boys, there were a lot of U.S. citizens that were volunteering their time over and serving with France, with Great Britain, with their air groups. So flying over the battlefield in Europe. So we'll mention a little bit about that. Okay. But quickly, like I mentioned, with the United States, these soldiers realized that, yeah, trench warfare, with all these new forms of weaponry that we already mentioned, that we talked about, it's not a game. It sucks. It's terrible. It's brutal. And we'll mention more about that in the next couple of days here, maybe next week. All right, so with propaganda, we'll focus a little bit more on some other forms of propaganda today with this activity. But at first, the first one we talked about was with Uncle Sam, trying to recruit as many young men as possible into the conflict. Okay, there will also be other forms of propaganda that dehumanize the enemy. What does that mean? Should have a vocab term. I'm sorry about that. What? Yeah, exactly, right. To show them as animals, as brutes, so that we can disconnect, let's say, an emotional tie we might have with them if we go over and fight them in a conflict. So that we won't have an issue when it comes to shooting them and killing them. I know it sounds crazy, but in any case, this is what propaganda is guided to do. Try to make that disconnection, show them as what they are projected to be, a bloodthirsty animal. Okay. And there's other forms of propaganda, which we'll talk about when it comes to maybe rationing items, goods, okay, materials like food. Okay, we'll talk about victory gardens here soon. And also when it comes to metals, supplies. You know. All right, so with the Selective Service Act, does it say draft at all? Why doesn't it say draft? I talked about this yesterday. Say draft. Chris, go ahead. Because people got that. Yeah, good job, right? So there were a lot of draft riots during the Civil War where people were saying that this was going against their religion, going against their political affiliation. And it caused a lot of tensions to the point where the military actually had to show up in New York City and try to put down this hostility while they're fighting the war against the Confederacy. So, yeah, overall, they want to try to steer away from this idea of the draft. But with the Selective Service Act, there was some more popularity for it. Again, the only war that we can really remember is the Spanish-American War at this point, this part. And it was something of a war that there wasn't too many casualties. So there was a lot of excitement. But at the same time, there were some people that fought against it. So that this was unjust, taking away the rights and freedoms, the opportunities of people as they're shoving them into a conflict. Which there's a lot of court cases out there duking it out. One being Schenck versus the United States in 1917, where he was actually handing out pamphlets, handing out in the mail to people, United States citizens, to try to avoid the war, avoid the draft, okay, get rid of your draft card, okay, they can't force you in this conflict. So if you take government with the freedom, we'll talk a lot about that court case and many more when it comes to this Selective Service Act draft. All right, so it's still around today, okay, when it comes to this Selective Service Act. You have to sign up for it. Okay, and it's only an act of Congress, so like let's say we get involved in a war, we need to ramp up our participation. That is the only time where Congress needs to issue this draft, issue this Selective Service Act again. Right? Ever since the end of the Vietnam War, we try to step away from that, and our military is basically voluntary at this point. Okay, a draft needs to be instituted by Congress. All right, okay, all right. So with that, I want to give you your terms here. So then when you have your terms, we'll be good to go. We'll finish up the assignment, and then we'll jump right into the Espionage and Sedition Acts. Oh, the Committee on Public Safety. So again, this was an organization created by Woodrow Wilson to try to ramp up efforts to get people motivated in this conflict. Okay, creating propaganda. What, Matt?
I thought it was the move.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Yeah, information. Sorry about that. Information. So when it comes to the public information here, this is an organization by Woodrow Wilson where a lot of people were saying the government influence was too much, that there is too much going on when it comes to the government involvement into people's lives. And we'll talk more about it today with the Espionage and Sedition Acts. All right, okay, so let me get the terms up for you. All right, okay. Sorry about confusing those two for you. All right, there's the Espionage Sedition Acts. I do want to add Victory Gardens, though, to this. All right, I put Victory Gardens in because we'll be talking about that today with the assignment, okay, and how people at home are looking to try to help with the war effort when it comes to producing food, okay? And with the production of agriculture in the United States, it's going to be really ramped up during World War I, okay, to a point where when we get to the roaring 20s, there's going to be an oversupply of food. And this is going to really cause a lot of tension, a lot of issues closer to the 1930s. What happens in the 1930s? What happens? Chris, the Great Depression. Okay. We'll talk about this. Right? We'll mention about how this oversupply leads to a lot of businesses shutting down and causing a crippling effect, not only in the United States, but all around the world. That's going to be one of the leading causes to World War II. All right, there you go. There you go. All stuffed up because here. All right, so Victory Gardens, part of this propaganda, okay, and a way to try to promote a lot more agricultural growth, okay. And this was promoted to American citizens, obviously the farmers of the United States, to produce as much food as possible for the war. Okay, yeah, word got back about trench warfare and how brutal it was. When it came to food, when it came to resources, it was hard to keep that from, let's say, spoiling. So for the United States, as we're getting involved, this could be what pushes the tide here. This is what could be what is going to be a benefit to the United States and the Allied powers moving forward. Like I said, the U.S., we're not prepared for this conflict. Right? We're far behind when it comes to military training and just what warfare is all about. But one way we can tip the tide and tip the scales here is if we have this production. We do have this production, okay, with agricultural foods and when it comes to resources, materials, and military supplies. And that's really how the U.S. helps the Allied powers win this conflict. Also, it gives them a little bit more of the Allied powers, a little bit more motivation. Here we are coming over, excited about this conflict, really excited, and this gives enough for the British and French troops to say, hey, we can finally do this. We have another force coming in, and let's just take the win out of Germany's sails. All right, Espionage and Sedition Acts. What is it? What do we got here? Chris, go ahead.
Those acts that done the spreading information that potentially harm the U.S. military.
Yeah, good job, Ryan. Good job. So the goal here with these acts by Woodrow Wilson, which he's heavily criticized after the conflict, looking back at this conflict now, it is really a government overreach. And the reason for it is because the fear, the paranoia, that maybe we could have some German sympathizers internal. Again, we have this huge ancestry, immigrant population in the United States from all around Europe, specifically Germany. And this could cause a huge downfall, an uproar in American society, and to a point where we might see us break down from the inside out. So this was enhancing our government, enhancing these bureaucracies, and one being created, the FBI, to try to find where these German sympathizers are. So listening into phone conversations, literally monitoring people's mail, cutting it open, and trying to see exactly what they can do to link them back to Germany. So yeah, this is totally taking away people's rights and freedoms, okay, going against everything the United States is all about. So with this paranoid government here, okay, I just want to go over this. We'll get back to the propaganda assignment. Some of this will just make more sense when you're analyzing these propaganda pieces. But with the Espionage Acts, again, and Sedition Acts, if you were viewed or just looked at as maybe a German sympathizer against the United States cause in World War I, you'll be thrown in jail. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even worse, if you're not thrown in jail, maybe you could have an angry mob show up at your door and just kill you. And there's nothing anybody's going to do about it. Why? Because you're going against the United States cause, the war effort. So if you were maybe talking badly about the conflict, if you were defaming the United States, that's what sullying means. When it comes to the flag or burning a flag or maybe not hanging it up outside your house during war effort, they could view you as maybe a potential sympathizer or a spy or German. Later, this will continue after the war to try to target communists, people that might be a part of this communist revolution movement in the United States. So they're wearing red. Sorry, attitude. Ozzy. Thanks, close enough. Elena, you're communist. So you're touching red. So anyway, with that, Espionage and Sedition Act here, okay, this was this fear, this paranoia that maybe you could be a part of this communist revolution, this movement. But again, during the war, it was targeting German interests, to the point where they're literally looking through their mail, listening into their phone conversations, and trying to take everything away from these people. No more freedoms and opportunities for this German ancestry here, these German immigrants in the U.S. So again, looking back at Woodrow Wilson's leverage here with the United States and using the government as a tool to try to monitor people's behavior, you can say, you know what, he went a little too far. Okay, this is going against everything the United States is all about with limited government. But during a time of warfare, a lot of people were for it. Again, because we are this melting pot. And if we don't do something about it, we could see our country tear each other apart from the inside out. So these acts were created to make sure that this fear, this paranoia, this hostility, this rebellion never happens in the U.S. Okay. So there's many instances where you'll see and hear about, again, with many court cases about how A lot of these people were thrown in jail because maybe their political affiliation, maybe because their ancestry, maybe because their culture, right? And this was a way for Woodrow Wilson to keep an eye, keep everybody in check about this war effort. So, yeah, if you weren't hanging your flag outside, well, who knows? You're maybe a sympathizer, killed right on the spot, or thrown in jail, right? Straight to jail. Okay, all right, so let's get back to the assignment here. I want to get through these propaganda pieces. We have 4 more to go. I just wanted to show you this here, the Espionage and Sedition Act, just to maybe help you out with some of these other propaganda pieces. Okay, all right, let's get back to it. Again, we already did picture number 1, so now you can move down to picture number 2. It's the same questions, just based off a different propaganda piece. So we have 4 more to go. So everybody, let's get to it here. The first one we did was Uncle Sam. Oh, here's the next one. Look out. Look out. So make sure you remember here, there's a nickname for the German troops here. They're called the Huns, okay? So beat back the Hun. That's a German soldier, okay? You can tell by his point on his helmet here, and just with Europe in the background. So there is a body of water that separates us from Europe. What is that again? Just to give this one away here to help you out a little bit, Chris. And Atlantic Ocean. So here you are, viewpoint of the United States, looking across the Atlantic Ocean and seeing that in the background. So that's all I'm going to give you. There you go. That's all I'm going to give you. We'll talk about Liberty Bonds here when we get more to the war effort at home and what we're trying to do again with propaganda. Goes right along with it. Well, these Liberty Bonds, I'll give you the time. You can look that up if need be. If you already know it, great. But make sure you answer in detail these questions. I just don't want to see a couple words down and call it good. All right, make sure you're answering in detail. All right, so I'll give you a couple minutes, work on this one, and then we'll move to the next one. Bless you. Bless you. Paul, are you looking ahead? Paul, caught red-handed, Espionage Sedition Act. Throw him in jail. Oh, look at the blood dripping off that bayonet. Oh, his fingers. Oh, gross. Oh my gosh, is that red? Is that communism up there? I think so. Look out. All right, you need another minute on this one here. Okay, no problem. All right, so I'm gonna put up the next one a while here. Once this unfreezes. There you go. Uh-oh, graphic. Sorry, it's not censored. My bad. Sorry. There you go. Okay, okay. So the lady might be someone, Lady Liberty. Okay, that's the only thing I'm gonna give you. All right, so you can tell by maybe the helmet here who that might be. Oh, geez. Man, man. Remember dehumanization, right? Dehumanizing. What does it say at the bottom there? Okay, he might be hard to see, but he's standing on American soil. Okay, it says American on Navy speak. Back in the background, you can see destruction. What? Europe. All righty, so here is the next one. We just talked about this in one of the vocab terms, Victory Gardens. Okay, I just gave it away. There you go. There you go. All right, so I have enough time here. Here's the last one. So this is detailing about what we just went over. Two terms, right? Well, one of them, I put them together. But we went over this last slide. So there you go. There you go. So once you're finished, again, answering in detail, you can turn that assignment in. We will go over this tomorrow as well, just so everybody's all on the same page. Okay, but I will grade them tomorrow. How many bell ringers do we have if we have one tomorrow? 5. Okay, good, 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 good. Bless you. All right, so you got about a minute left here. If you're not finished up, then just make sure you have that done for tomorrow. We will go over them tomorrow. I will have these graded for you by the end of the day. Ooh, new Ant-Man movie coming out today.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Are you? Where are you going to see it? I'll see you there. 7.
That's where I'm going.
What? Nah. I'll save you a seat.
After they were in Doctor Strange, I'm scared of running. I know, right? I did not look at that.
It's in 3D, you know that. I don't like that. I don't like wearing glasses in the movie theater. So what do you do? You just put it over top of it? Is that how it works? All right, again, just do tomorrow. Make sure you have it turned in. Okay, good stuff.